back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. Always having fun on this show. It is the most interactive show out there, and we love taking your calls at 257-5396. But, you know, we've talked a lot about Donald Trump. We've talked a lot about the summit. We've talked a lot about Kim Jong-un. What we haven't talked a lot about is what's there to do in Vegas this weekend. What are you looking to do? And the guy we always love to talk to is Johnny Kats, Mr. Kats, as we like to call him from the Review Journal. He is Mr. Vegas, and he joins us right now live from the T-Mobile Arena. Mr. Kats, appreciate you. Is there a Knights game tonight? Is that what's going on?
It's VGK action, yeah. The home squad's up 1-0 here with about 6:41 to play in the first. So yeah, I'm hanging out.
Are we seeing any new Stone Vegas Golden Knights jerseys in the crowd? Have they made those available yet?
You know, I haven't seen any myself. I would be surprised if there weren't some around. But the usual suspects as I was walking in, lots of flurry, a lot of tuck. Marchessault is a big one. But I haven't seen any Stone ones yet. Not that they're not out there. I just haven't noticed them.
And I would imagine
by Subban. Subban's in the pipe tonight.
Subban. Okay, good. We hope he gets the shutout. So I would imagine there's not too many Florida Panthers fans on a Thursday night in there.
It's a primarily Vegas crowd tonight. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, John Van Beesbrook, great goalie for the Florida Panthers. But Florida was pretty good there. Not as good of a team now as certainly they once were. But glad to hear that the Knights are up 1-0. I would imagine that it looks like a sellout crowd, as it appears every game is.
Yeah. You know, it's funny what you mentioned that, because when they announced that they were going to bring an expansion team to Las Vegas, a lot of the naysayers were saying, yeah, we'll see what a midweek game against somebody like the Florida Panthers is going to look like.
I was one of those people. I use
Carolina as the example, but it's the same thing. It's like, but it's packed tonight, you know. I'm going
to be honest. I was one of those people, and if they didn't have a good year and they weren't a playoff team, I still would question that. But they deserve all those fans. They deserve it. They had an unbelievable season last year, and they're a playoff team this year, so they deserve it, Johnny. Okay, so we got a big weekend coming up. A lot going on in Las Vegas. Tell me where you're going to be at tomorrow night, Saturday night. What you got going on?
Tomorrow, I will tell you. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Happy birthday!
So my actual birthday. And it looks like we're still assembling a plan. It looks like I might go see some Smokey Robinson or Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm not sure yet which one of those. And then later at night, we're going to go and have dinner, my gal and I, with of all people, Pia Zadora over at Piero's restaurant, the old Vegas hang over on the convention center.
I like it.
Freddie Glussman, and there's some other people coming in. And so we're going to end the night there with Sonny Charles and Pia Zadora and the Pia's Place in the back room, the lounge there. So that's what's going to happen tomorrow night. And Saturday, I'm going to the Las Vegas Philharmonic Gala, their annual fundraising gala, is Saturday night. And that's always a big whoop-de-doo fancy affair. So I'm going to be at that. But Smokey's also in town on Saturday, as is Wind and Fire. Smokey's actually with Human Nature tonight.
Really? I did not.
Human Nature now.
Oh, that's cool. I love that. So that's kind of wow. You got an interesting night tomorrow night, to say the least.
It's a lot different.
Wow, a typical night in the life of Johnny Kats, hanging out with Pia Zadora and all these guys and his girlfriend. You are just unbelievable. Go ahead, JD.
Hey, John, are you going to join the Sterling Club or not?
You know, I will. Yeah, I don't know what kind of package I'm going to be in on. I haven't talked to those guys in a while. I know that they're doing a big outreach for memberships. And, by the way, Florida has tied it.
Ooh.
But I want to be there. I know we've talked about setting up kind of a recurring bureau at the Sterling Club where I can go in and write and hang out. But I don't know exactly what tier I'll be on. I want to at least have enough to where I can go in, hang, and have coffee and write. Whatever package that is me.
Yeah. You bring up the word package. I'm sorry, but I was thinking about Kraft again. Patriots. I'm sorry. I just got his package on my mind.
It brings up old demons for Brian.
Yeah, it does. I'm thinking of Mr. Kraft.
And John, I think that's the executive package. I believe so.
Is that what it is?
I believe so. Which is what I'm going to do myself.
How about the NFL owner package? I'm sorry. Okay, I'll stop now. All right, Mr. Kats.
The inflate package.
Yeah, the inflated package, right, exactly. All right, Mr. Katz, so I don't want to hold you too long because I know you're enjoying the game, and maybe you're bad luck having us on right now, and you need to focus on the game since the Panthers just scored and it's 1-1. But with that being said, Mr. Katz, why don't you give out a little bit of information and tell us what articles are you working on that we can look forward to reading?
I have, the one I just posted today about Drake finally formally announced his residency at Excess Nightclub at the Wynn Encore. We had been reporting that for a while. His opening night is May 4th. He's going to do 5 shows this year and an exclusive residency deal in the club. That's a big deal for all you nightclub people. All you Drake fans will be happy to know that. That's the only place he's going to have a residency this year. We're going to have, Scott Sabella has left MGM Grand, and it looks like there's a lot more happening with the MGM Resorts family. He's the president and COO of MGM. That's up and running. I'm going to have a story about Celine Dion. She had her mother in the audience last night at the show I went to. The Nitro Circus show. I don't know if you guys remember that Nitro Circus
with
show.
Dee Snider. Yeah, of course.
That show is not. It's the Travis Pastrana motorcycle show that we're going to put into the Bally's Theater, into the Jubilee Theater. That's been put on hold. So we don't know if that's even going to open in Las Vegas.
That was a great show. Remember when they had it, Johnny, at the Westgate? And I thought.
Oh no, you're thinking of Monster Circus.
Oh, okay. I got mixed up there.
Show, by the way.
Yes.
Diaz tried to get that going again. By the way,
that show was so freaking awesome. It was I love that show.
It was so awesome and very expensive.
Yeah.
They literally burned a lot of money in that show. But the one I was talking about was remember when Pastrana jumped the cars over the strip last?
I do.
Fall?
Very much so.
They announced that there was going to be a stage show called Nitro Circus at Bally's, and that show was supposed to be open by now, and it's not opening. And the reason I found out it wasn't opening is because they brought Dionne Warwick in to headline at the Bally's Jubilee Theater for the entire month of April. And when I saw that, I said, wait a second, I thought motorcycles were going to be in there. And you can't make a show out of Dionne Warwick and motorcycles, I've learned.
Yeah,
so,
that doesn't
anyway.
sound like it would work. But, well, Mr. Katz.
Those are all the things that are going on. Oh, and some updates on Jimmy Kimmel and some Lady Gaga stuff. But,
good.
Nipping around a little bit.
You always do. You are all over the place. Listen, enjoy the rest of the Vegas Golden Knights game. Let's hope they get the W. Great job, my friend. Have a great weekend. Say hello to Zadora for me. I hope you have a good time tomorrow night. I
heartily endorse Pia. Pia is great. And so Sonny Charles is a legend if you ever have a chance to get to that show. It's really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. Well, Mr. Katz, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. And enjoy the rest of the game, my friend. Thank you so much.
Right on. Talk to you next week.
All right.
See you, Johnny.
There you go, Mr. Katz. So we haven't talked a lot of UNLV basketball today. Actually, we haven't even mentioned Marvin Menzies once. I can't go through a show without talking a little UNLV basketball, JD. You understand?
It's a very, very sick habit.
Yeah. Well, as you know, JD, UNLV got blasted last night by Nevada Reno.
Brian,
not a surprise.
What did he say?
I'll get to that, but I have to, it's kind of like, you got to build, right? You got to build here. I know you have ADD like I do, but let me tell the story.
You got to butter the situation up.
This is radio. Okay, relax.
Okay.
Let me tell the story. Okay, so UNLV played Nevada Reno, and I get distracted because I get Ken Thompson, coming in, thinking like he owns the place. He just walks right into the production studio. Anyway, he's wearing his Raiders gear as always. But anyway, Ken's coming up next. Anyway, so UNLV played Nevada Reno yesterday, up there in Reno. And UNLV never had a chance. I think they were leading the game for 0 seconds, so they never were winning the basketball game. We all know Nevada Reno's really good, but don't talk to me and tell me that Nevada Reno should be a top 10 team in the country or 12th in the country, and UNLV should be in the state that it's in. Stop it, okay? UNLV had no chance to win this game. They were horrendous defensively, and the only reason why they didn't lose by 40 is because they were making bombs. They were making shots. Noah Robotham hit a bunch of bombs in the second half. Yeah, UNLV outscored Nevada Reno by 2. So hopefully they don't think that's a moral victory, as Marvin Menzies said in the first time they played Nevada Reno. So after the game, I'm almost ready to call this the Marvin Menzies comment of the day, because he said something that I think is very confusing. Now, that's just me, just my opinion. Marvin Menzies asked about the state of the program by Mark Anderson from the Review Journal, who does a phenomenal job. I can't say enough good things about Mark, because he always asks the tough questions, and he does his job very, very well. So we asked Marvin Menzies after this Nevada Reno loss, to comment on the state of the program. This is a quote from Marvin Menzies last night I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're 9-7 in conference, JD, right? I believe they're 9-7. They're
that sounds right.
Fifth in the Mountain West Conference, arguably the worst conference in the country. Here's Marvin Menzies' statement. He says, quote, "You're building a program and it takes a little time." Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'll continue with the quote in a second. 3 years is not a little time. A little time is a year and a half. That's, that to me, that's not a little time. Okay. You're building a program, it takes a little time. Like building a house. We still got to do some drywall and put on the roof. He also goes on to say, "I do feel like we are taking steps. Sometimes we are only getting an inch better, sometimes 2 inches." JD, that is a quote from Marvin Menzies. Your reaction to that, please.
First of all, what's a little time? Obviously, 1.5 years, 3 years, 5 years. Depends on what that is. But when you're building a house, I feel like drywall is one of the – it happens so much earlier than the roof.
Can I just say the only person that's building a house are some of the shooters on the UNLV team? Those are the people that are building a house.
Yeah, the bricks.
Yeah, they're the ones building a house, right? Ken Thompson agrees with me. He's behind the window. He agrees. But Ken's like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
That statement was almost Shakespearean. It was like college basketball Shakespearean. It just made absolutely. It didn't. There was no rhyme or reason to it. It went from scenario to scenario to scenario, and then it ended with integrating a line from any given Sunday.
So I put up a as I normally do with Marvin Menzies quotes. I put up this quote. And I gave 4 options in a poll. I did a poll on Twitter. And by the way, we get hundreds of votes. It's awesome. We've gotten over 100 votes in 24 hours, which is great. I'm glad people are involved in our questions, okay? One of them was, do you agree with that quote? The other one is, do you disagree? Do you totally disagree? Or I'm confused. 27% of people said they were confused. 34%, the winner, said they totally disagree with that quote. 14% said they agree or disagree. And 25% say they agree. I want to take some phone calls on that. What do you think about that statement by Marvin Menzies? The number to call, 257-5396. Again, the number to call, 702-257-5396. As you know, we always speak open and honestly about the UNLV program, and we critique it when it is appropriate, as many members of the media decide not to do that. And we always welcome your calls here. I think this quote, in my opinion, is utterly ridiculous. Ridiculous. 257-5396.
It's almost like he's trolling. He's like he's trolling the media. At this point.
First it's racial epithets.
Yeah.
Then you're blaming the Air Force crowd noise. Then you're saying we got to go with these small victories. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Let's go to Chuck. Chuck, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you, Chuck?
Hey, Chuck.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Sanchez hasn't had any winning records, but you guys back him up, and Mendy's got actually a winning record, even though it's not shiny.
Okay, but that's completely different situations, though. We're talking college football and we're talking college basketball, 2 completely different programs.
And we're talking the UNLV football program has never sniffed any type of success. The UNLV basketball program is 30 years removed from a national championship.
Exactly. Chuck, go ahead, respond. Okay, I guess Chuck doesn't want. I guess we stumped him there, Chuck.
Good call, Chuck.
Yeah, appreciate the call. 257-5396, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Fernando. Fernando, thanks for calling in. How are you?
What's up, Fernando?
Hey guys, I saw the video of Kraft, and at the end of the video, he goes, "I love you, Tom Brady."
I don't believe.
I mean, that actually sounds right.
That's funny, but I don't believe it. But it's funny. Funny anyway.
With Marvin, he sings some ridiculous things. He sings some ridiculous things, and I just don't get it. And I went to go see the women's game last night, and they had a good crowd, 1,900
in the Cox Pavilion. That is a good crowd. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, they had a good crowd in the men's last home game. So what I was thinking, they should schedule some games at the Cox Pavilion, get a little bit of home court advantage, and get the fans in there and just have like a throwback,
Maybe.
A throwback game.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Back to the old gym to get some people in because there's nobody going.
Yeah. No, you're right. Fernando, I agree.
To make it look much more packed than it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they should play in the Cox Pavilion. That'd be a sad state of affairs for UNLV
That's a
basketball.
psychological move. I like it, Fernando.
I don't think it's going to happen, Fernando, but always good to hear from you, my friend. Thank you for calling. 257-5396, the number to call, 702-257-5396, talking UNLV basketball and what I consider ridiculous comments, once again, by Marvin Menzies after a loss to Nevada Reno. Let's go to Randy. Randy, thanks for calling in. How are you, Randy?
Yeah, Brian and Sharp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvin. Woo! Marvin's got it all figured out. We're in the 5th spot. Start on Thursday, 2:30. Win 3 games. It's all forgotten about. We're good to go.
Randy.
We got the cannon.
Randy, have you seen?
Now we're going to go to tournament.
Can I ask you a question, Randy? Okay, I love your enthusiasm, but let's try to tone it down here because I'm serious now. Have you ever seen anyone make a racial epithet at Marvin Menzies when he was hired? Be honest.
No.
So why do you think he said that? Let's have a real conversation here, Randy. Why do you think he said that?
Oh, you're taking the air out from me. Okay, I don't know why. Probably he's scared for his job, and he's in a panic mode, which he doesn't need to be.
He doesn't?
You know, we just got to win.
He's got
3.
fans like Randy behind him.
Randy, do you think it's a successful season? Let's just say he wins a couple games and he loses in the semifinals of the Mountain West Conference. Do you think that's a successful season?
Yes.
Why? Why?
Because we're trending upward.
What do you mean we're trending upward? Do you know what their ranking is right now compared to at this time last year?
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. I'm giving you facts. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Brian, the
facts
fans
matter.
took over the program when they fired Tark in '92.
I didn't ask you that. I'm not asking you about Tark. I'm telling you that facts matter, and I asked you a specific question. What is their ranking right now in the country compared to at this time last year? Was it higher or lower?
No, it doesn't matter.
Of course you don't know because they're worse now than they were at this time last year.
Randy, I got a question for you. Marvin Menzies' record. Randy, okay. Marvin Menzies' record against top 100 opponents is 3-31. Is that okay with you?
3-30. Yes.
We have to start somewhere. We
what are you talking about?
Over the program,
Randy.
We need to breathe and relax. Let the man have 5 years.
Oh, please!
You guys ran Rice and Kruger out of town.
Excuse me, Randy. I got to stop you right there. Stay on the line. Excuse me. I ran Lon Kruger. Do you know how much of a big fan I was of Lon Kruger's? Do you know immediately when I was the only person in the media that said this? I said it is a enormous mistake to get rid of Lon Kruger. I said that from the very beginning. So with all due respect, I was a huge Kruger guy. I still am a Kruger guy. Not only is he a Hall of Fame coach, but a fantastic person and a fantastic family. In 3 years, let me ask you a question. If you're such a huge Kruger guy, which I am, by the way, I am, do you know what Kruger did in his 3rd year at UNLV compared to Marvin Menzies?
I can tell you that was some of the worst basketball I have ever seen.
Are you out of? See, that's where you lose credibility. No, come on. He made it to the. You're out of your mind.
Air Force in the tournament, 46-40.
He made it to the Sweet 16. He won Mountain West Conference tournament games, and there was 13,000 at the Thomas and Mack. What the hell are you talking about?
And we ran him out of town because it was some of the worst basketball.
Why do you say we?
Because he didn't win with swag. Randy likes the swag.
Over Lon Kruger any day of the week.
You're saying that with all due respect, you are saying that you would rather have Marvin Menzies as the head coach of UNLV over Lon Kruger? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Then you are out of your mind.
Randy, would you rather have Tony Bennett, who's the current coach of Virginia?
I will come into the studio and show you what Kruger did. That was some of the worst basketball I've ever seen.
You keep saying, wait, hold on a second, Randy.
We wanted him out of here.
You say worst basketball, but the guy won.
We ran Kruger out of here.
Well, no, you did because you don't know what you're talking. Excuse me, you did because you don't know what you're talking about. With all due respect,
I think Randy would want.
Just because you have season tickets doesn't mean you have any idea what you're talking about. With all due respect,
Dave Rice is a great guy too, and you ran him out of town too.
Because he didn't win here and he didn't get the job done. Lon Kruger did. What are you talking about?
You didn't give him a chance to get the job done.
What?
It takes time.
What are you talking about?
Brian,
Didn't give him a chance.
Hold on, Brian. The average age of the Reno team is what, 25? I don't want those kids.
What was the average age? Okay, so let me ask you a question.
What was the NBA team,
What was the average? What was the average age? I'm asking you a question. Randy, hold on. What was the average age of the team last year? No, I'll tell you. JoJo was a senior. Johnson was a senior. Houston was a junior. Clyburn was a junior. There's your starting lineup. Next, check me. Next.
Brian, look what we have coming back next year.
You didn't answer me. What happened last year? What happened last year to make you think that Marvin Menzies is the right guy for this job? Answer the question.
I am. He's laying the blueprint
What
down.
did he do?
Even if
Stop
Rick-
it with
wait,
the.
Hold on, Brian. Wait. I answered your question. Wait. If Rick Pitino came tomorrow, he's going to want a 5-year contract.
Rick Pitino's
Right?
not. First of all, Rick Pitino's not coming tomorrow, and I would give him a 30-year contract. He's Rick Pitino. He's won everywhere he's been. The only place Marvin Menzies won conference championships was the WAC, one of the worst conferences in the country, and he never won an NCAA tournament game, and he never beat a top 25 team. I am giving you something called facts, and then you bring up the excuse about freshmen and sophomores and how young this team is, and I ask you a very specific question. What happened last year when the team had a bunch of juniors and seniors, and you don't give me an answer, and the only answer you give me is, hold on.
They didn't have a bunch of juniors.
Yes, they did.
As a freshman.
Excuse me.
His first year
Excuse
at
me.
Division I.
No, his starting point
Come
guard.
on, Brian.
Excuse me.
Come on,
I'm trying.
Brian.
Excuse me. I'm going to give you facts again. I know you don't like to listen to facts because you drink the UNLV Kool-Aid. Johnson, their starting point guard, was a senior. JoJo, their starting two guard, was a senior. Juice. I'm not even done.
Please
Hold on.
stop. Wait. JoJo was in his second year. Jordy was in his first year.
So now you want to make the excuse about transfers. You were just talking about upperclassmen and freshmen, and now you want to make the excuse that
Martin's been there.
let me tell you something, Randy. Let me tell you something, Randy.
Been there for 2 years.
Let me tell you something, Randy. UNLV is not.
Brian, you're not being fair. I know you want to.
What have I said that's not true?
You're not being fair.
Okay. Well, you're not being honest. So I mean,
Wait,
Randy.
No.
No, goodbye. You're not being honest. If you want to have a legitimate conversation about UNLV basketball, I will gladly have it with you. But you drink the UNLV Kool-Aid.
He just wants excitement. He wants an exciting team.
He thinks,
that plays absolutely no defense.
How the hell?
His ideal coach would be Mike D'Antoni.
How the hell can you criticize Lon Kruger? How could this guy call up and criticize Lon Kruger and say he would rather have Marvin Menzies as the head coach
Because
than Lon Kruger? That is asinine.
He didn't like his style of ball. Just like he wouldn't want Tony Bennett, who's 24-2 for Virginia right now.
He's in the minority. You know why? Because the Thomas and Mack was packed when Lon Kruger was coaching here. He is in the minority.
Well, and very few teams actually win consistently with that style of ball.
The bottom line is, what is Marvin Menzies' identity? If you want to talk about style, JD, what is Marvin Menzies' style? What is that style of basketball? Don't play defense and then take contested shots and contested threes? Is that Marvin Menzies' style?
And then make excuses about it, yeah.
And then make excuses about it afterwards and talk about building a house.
At this point, yes.
Let me educate.
Then make asinine analogies and metaphors and expect us to take them and say, "Oh, this guy's really, really trying hard to make this program work."
Let me educate our last caller. Okay, Lon Kruger had an identity. His teams have an identity. They played hard, solid defense, and they rebound. And that's why
they didn't turn the ball over.
And that's why they win basketball games. You know what the identity of this UNLV team is for the last 3 years? No identity. They lose. That's their identity. There's 2,500 people in the Thomas and Mack. That's their identity. There's excuses after losses. That's the identity. The university is oozing out money, and people like you want Marvin Menzies to get a contract extension. If you had it your way, you would give Marvin Menzies 10 years. With all due respect, you were on the wrong side of history. And about Dave Rice, the comment you made about not giving him a chance, how many years was Dave Rice here? Okay? Enough to win, enough to show good, decent progress. And every year he was here, his teams got worse. How can you say there's progress being made when they haven't beaten one top 100 team in the country this year? Their best win is against 135, Boise State. I mean, come on. I know.
What's BYU? They're 18-12.
Not a very good team. Not even the third best team in the West Coast Conference.
I think BYU's probably 120, 115. They might break 100.
I'm just so tired of the apologists that think he deserves to come back for another year. I'm tired of it. And most of the people in this town agree with me, and that's why they're not showing up to games, by the way, Randy. That's why the Thomas and Mack is empty. That's why it's empty. If they played an exciting brand of basketball, and even if they weren't winning, people would still go to games. Not only are they not winning, and not only are they a middle-of-the-pack team in an awful conference, but they don't play an exciting brand of basketball. They rely on...
And they're not competitive against really, really good teams.
Well, yeah, like I said, they haven't beaten one top 100 team in the country. It's a joke. And there are people out there that have lowered the bar on UNLV basketball like I cannot believe. It is a losing culture now because of people like Randy who just called in who accept it and think it's okay that almost more people go to a UNLV women's game than a men's game. And you know what? I'm happy for the women. They deserve it, especially if they're winning. I'm happy that over 1,000 people showed up. How many people showed up to that UNLV Air Force game a few weeks back? You could argue there were more people in Cox Pavilion. So don't talk to me about style of play. That's absurd. Just ridiculous. Talk about building a house. You could play the games in Marvin Menzies' house, probably. You'd be able to fit enough fans in there. That's how bad it's been. I mean, you can call me Mr. Negative all you want. I want UNLV to succeed just as bad as anybody else does, but it ain't working out. It's not working. And you know what? We're probably going to be stuck another year with this type of brand of basketball. Yeah, they are young. They'll probably be better next year. Don't know if Houston's going to come back. But what's a good year next year? Second or third in the Mountain West Conference? NIT? After 4 years, is that good enough? What's good enough? Anyway, it's been a lively show, JD. Been a lively show as it always is. I don't know. I think we fielded like 150 calls in the first hour. It was fun. It was a good time. Tomorrow on the show, we plan on having Danny Tarkanian come in. So that's going to be very, very interesting. I will say this. I have a very good friend coming in studio next. Ken Thompson does a good job with guests. JT the Brick is coming up next, and I got to tell you something, man. He is one of the best in the business. He really is. He is one of the best in the business. So he's going to be coming up next. He is awesome. Not only a great guy, but one of the most talented guys in radio that I've ever heard. And I mean that sincerely, 100%. Thanks for the calls, everybody. We appreciate it. Check out our Twitter page, @TheVegasTake. And we'll catch you same time, same place tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Mr. Ken Thompson, the man, the myth, the legend. Coming up next, everybody. Check us out on Twitter, @TheVegasTake, please, as we podcast all of our shows. We'll catch you tomorrow, everybody. Have a fantastic night.